UAP are airborne objects that, when encountered, cannot be immediately identified. With regard to the importance of transparency, the Department is fully committed to the principle of openness and accountability to the American people.
We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh my gosh, dude.
U.S. Navy personnel recorded what appears to be triangles, some flashing. The video was taken through night vision goggles with a single lens reflex camera.
Well, I would say, I mean, it's a pretty high-profile incident. I don't claim to be an expert. You're the guys investigating it. I mean, who else is doing it?
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to UFO We Want to Know. This is May 11th, 2024. I'd like to wish my father a happy 93rd birthday. He passed away in 89, and Pop, rest in peace. Before I begin the show, as I always do, this is dedicated to those who have been ridiculed, dragged through the mud, and made fun of by the media for the last 76 plus years. I hope I bring some kind of comfort to those that are still alive that went through that horrible time period. But today it's our turn, and the scientists, the governments around the world have to prove us wrong. I'd like to begin with the slideshow. We have 18 photos to show you, so we can start here. And today's first segment is going to be about the Kuiper Belt. Now, I brought this up before a few months back, but we have some new information on it. I want to share that with you. The Kuiper Belt has been a area of interest for me, and I'm not an expert on it by no means. But let me talk about the Kuiper Belt a little bit. It's 20 times as wide as the asteroid belt, and there's 200 times the mass of the asteroid belt. So the Kuiper Belt is huge. It's a lot bigger in every way, shape, and form than the asteroid belt. The New Horizon, who, if you watched my show about this before, went through the Kuiper Belt on its way to Pluto. And there was a lot of information about Pluto and what the New Horizon spacecraft caught. But what NASA does not talk about is the object that was found in the Kuiper Belt. And that object is the interest that I want to point out today. I think it's so essential. Now, the New Horizon spacecraft, when it was sent, it was going there for exploration into the Kuiper Belt, but its primary goal in the beginning was Pluto. And they did find quite a few things in Pluto. The New Horizon found a lot of anomalies, but one particular one that was there is the one we want to concentrate on. It ran into an anomaly that, and I'll read from what I've written down here. The spacecraft was to check out a suspicious anomaly from Earth-based telescopes. Now, there's some confusion whether or not we actually saw the blinking lights from Earth or it was from the New Horizon. There's controversy there because the stories, they go back and forth. We named this anomaly 15810 Aran. It's not Iran, it's Aran. And you have to excuse me, I cut off a letter at the end of this one here, but you get the gist of it. It is pronounced Aran. So the anomaly was given the name 15810 Aran from Earth scientists. From Earth, this object flickered most everything in the Kuiper Belt that we could see or that we analyzed is made up mostly of ice and water and rock. Some do have frozen compounds like ammonia, methane, but this material shouldn't be able to be seen from Earth. There are two different stories that Horizon saw this object flickering, and that's why it was investigated. And the other one is that as it got closer, it actually piqued the interest of NASA and the space agency itself. The important thing here is that why we have an object that is giving off some kind of interest to NASA. Well, that story in itself is quite interesting because of the fact that when we got closer and closer to it, something actually happened. This is the picture that you'll see here is the name of Pahrump that they use. This particular picture is primarily a male name of Welsh origin that means king of the other world. That's what it signifies. And it's truly a remarkable wording because of the fact that if you think about it, this is from another world. It's not Earth. And there's a lot of interest in it. But here's the interesting about this particular object. This object was spinning. And the information that I gathered was every 5 hours it made a complete rotation. Now, scientists claim that ice, water, methane, all the groups that make up the particles in the Kuiper Belt shouldn't stay together. With that kind of centrifugal force, that object should have come apart a long time ago. But it spins, which means one of two things. It may have a core, which gives it its own gravity. And as the New Horizons spacecraft was getting closer to it, it did something very, very interesting. Now, I pointed this out in my last show, and that was that this craft, which I believe it is, I think it's a spacecraft, it shut down the New Horizon instrumentation. Now, it started to blink on the screens before it completely shut down. NASA scientists didn't know what was going on. They thought maybe something hit it and it destroyed the spacecraft until something else happened. That's, of course, when it left the area of this spacecraft, and I'm going to call it that because that's what I believe it is, the instruments came back on. And by coming back on, they essentially went back to their communication. I don't believe that whatever you want to say this is, this particular craft here, I think it shut down the instrumentation, just like the fighter jets here on Earth. When our fighter pilots had claimed that when they got close to the objects they shot down over Alaska, the Yukon, and the United States, period, we're talking about the Great Lakes area, Lake Huron, they said that as they got closer to these objects, their instrumentation malfunctioned. Okay, the New Horizon, we're talking about Earth-based instrumentation. There is some similarities in the instrumentation, but there is some differences, of course. We're talking about spacecraft that are going to go out in outer space. But still the same, their instrumentations were foiled also. So is that a coincidence? I don't think it is a coincidence. I truly believe that as this spacecraft, the New Horizon, as it was getting closer to this object, that, like I said, was spinning, I believe it shut it down because they didn't want us to see what was going on with this particular object. There's some intelligence here. There's no other way to look at it. There's intelligence here that are beyond our comprehension. And NASA is being very, very quiet about this. They won't say anything else about it. If this was a fluke, why didn't NASA have the spacecraft come around? There is that capability. They could have swung around and made another pass. At least they're not telling us that. If they did make another pass, they're sure not telling us that. And I find that showing no transparency. Because if you've come across a craft in outer space, in this case the Kuiper Belt, And that craft is not wanting us to see what is out there, okay? To me, that is not showing transparency. Here on this world, I believe we can take anything that the governments throw at us when it comes to the phenomenon of ufology. We're grown-up children. I'm sorry. I still call us children because we're not anywhere close to the technology of these intelligent beings. But at the same time, when asked about the spacecraft coming into this particular area and then blacking out and then coming back on, NASA had nothing to say. They wanted to concentrate more on what they found on Pluto and its moons, and which is, it's interesting if you're into the cosmos like that. But here on UFO, we want to know exactly what they ran into. After all, it is taxpayers' money that pay for these the New Horizon. So, in my belief, this is what they ran up against, a spacecraft, and not one of ours. Now, there is a story going around that, and you probably read it, that the Kuiper Belt is controlled by the Dracos. And for those of you who don't know what the Dracos are, we're talking about the lizard beings. And if that's true, they're considered the most feared of all aliens. And even in pictures, they depict them as the evil ones, the mean ones, the most terrifying ones to look at. Whether or not that's true or not, in an upcoming video, I'm going to be talking about the people who say that they were taken at age 4, 5, 6, and they served 20 years on the secret Space Force. And the Dracos would pick and choose what humans had that special ability, and they took them as their, I guess, their soldiers, and strictly to patrol the areas of the Kuiper Belt. Whether or not that's true or not, that's an interesting story, and I think you'll find that interesting. I might bring that up in an upcoming video. I have to get more information about it, but there's a lot of stories very, very similar to people who don't even know each other. We'll be back after this message. Please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO We Want to Know, and remember, yes, they are out there.
Thank you for staying with us. On this segment, we have 2 videos and 15 photos to show you. And I want people to understand that whenever I show you a video, if you think you've seen this before, you haven't, because I don't show the same video over and over. But I thought this one would be a little interesting, the very first video, so let's play that. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't have very good eyesight, but when I get with the technical director, I don't really get to see exactly what I'm seeing versus at home in my office, where I get to see exactly what I want to present on television. But you can see this one here, when it started to go up in the air, we're going to loop this a few times, it actually broke into 2 different pieces. And a lot of my videos, you'll see that I do stop motion, and you do get 2, sometimes 3 UFOs into one. Now, whether they're flying in tandem, or maybe it's the jerking motion of the camera itself. Now remember, these cameras, when I'm videotaping, I like doing them on tripods. So I get very, very little shaking. But sometimes I'll just go out there and I'll hand hold it and do this. And it could be me holding my camera and shaking just a tad, but for the most part, you get the understanding that these craft are flying in our atmosphere here. And as they fly by, you'll note that some of them do these fantastic maneuvers. And by the end of the show, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. I caught a UFO doing one heck of a maneuver that would definitely destroy any human-made aircraft, and that would be at our last videos, near our last videos. But this would be the last loop, but take a look at this. This particular one here was taken on May 5th, 2024, at 10:52 a.m., and this was in my backyard. I'm taking this in my backyard. You know, from my vantage point, whether it be my front yard, backyard, I get these UFOs all the time, and for the most part, I get I say about every 10 videos, I get one complete UFO set, and I can actually spend the whole day out there. And if I did that, I'd probably get 100 or 200 UFOs. On average, I get about 100 UFOs per week. And a lot of people tell me, well, that's an awful lot of UFOs. You don't think that your camera is giving you false readings? I don't think so. I believe that what I'm showing you here are true UFOs. Now, I was using my software. Some of the software I was using, I don't usually use, and I tried it in this particular craft here. And what I did is I went to colorization, which I don't normally do. This is the first time I've ever done that. And look at the detail of the craft by using colorization. Again, yeah, you could put that under Photoshop, but the object never changed. But I'm getting, I think, in my opinion, I'm getting greater detail when I do that. So I'm going to most likely continue on doing that. But you can see there's great detail in this. And I believe this is the last photo, or do I have one more? Yeah, that's the last one here. Okay, so take a look at this, and you tell me whether or not it shows depth here. And if you think I should try something else, get in touch with me at ufowe1@gmail.com and let me know what you think. I get a lot of people who tell me, well, you know, you're not showing a flying saucer. You're not showing something that's definitive. No, of course not. I'm taking this with a cell phone camera with 200 megapixels, and I do what I can do. And I have promised in the past that I was going to use other mechanisms to do this. And at the end of the show, I'm going to show you exactly what I've done with that promise I made to you. But again, by using colorization, I seem to have gotten depth in this UFO. And as you saw in the video, it seemed to have broken into two different pieces, but here it only shows one mass part of it. But I thought that was quite interesting, and something that I'm going to be trying in the near future, to do that with UFOs that I showed in the past, and maybe I'll bring those back and give you a better idea of what it looked like as far as depth is concerned. Okay, next video. If you remember last week, I did my whole show above this. The UFOs were above the studio. Well, this is one that I missed, and I wanted to show this one because I went back to my archives and I was looking at it, and I said, well, this is worth bringing to the studio and showing it. Now, this particular UFO is very interesting because, ladies and gentlemen, with man-made material, there's no way that our craft, whether it's a hovering helicopter or a jet, even a jump jet, they can't do what this object has done. It comes straight down and then it stops in midair. And then it heads over closer to the antenna and it goes into that cloud and doesn't come out. Now, I looked on my best optics, which is the ×40 magnifier. I looked and looked and looked. I did see the craft inside that cloud that it went into. It moved around a little bit, but it seemed to stay in that cloud. Now, being maybe brushed aluminum or a very light color, it surely blended in with that cloud. But as I watched it in slow motion, I could see it moving around. So it was probably moving pretty quick in that cloud. I don't know, making the decision where else it was going to go. But now we did zoom in a little bit, and we did slow the video down just a little bit so you can see it. But it seemed to try to change direction when it stopped. And not too many UFOs that I've gotten, that I've taken, do this particular move. where they're coming straight down. It's just a steady stream. They're coming down, and all of a sudden they stop abruptly. Okay, again, we can't do that. If we had, say, a Chinook helicopter come down that fast, I think the guys inside of it, the guys and girls that are inside of it, would probably fall to the ground. Gravity would definitely push them down as fast as this craft was coming down and then stopping abruptly. So I thought that was interesting, and this video was a part of the videos I took last week that I showed of the studio. That's a tower there. I believe it's 200 feet in the air, and I got many of these videos where UFOs were flying in and around. And I don't want to say they're in and around this particular tower. It's just a focal point for me, that because the first time I took my shot of this particular tower, a UFO seemed to be sitting right next to it on the very top of it. And that's when I started taking videos of the tower. And lo and behold, last week I got a whole bunch of videos with UFOs flying around it. Whether or not this is a particular hotspot, this is a flight path for the UFOs, that's a possibility, because I find that at my home, that I know where there is a flight path because I get video after video with UFOs flying right over my house. And I'm going to be showing those coming up. But isn't this an interesting fact that this craft could come down, all of a sudden stop there? I think scientists need to address this because of the fact that if we ever tried that with our craft, we better have inertia. Because if not, then you're going to see it come down in flames. So I focused here on the stop motion. This is where I was going to take the picture of this particular craft as it was coming down. And as we get closer to it, I zeroed in, took away the tower. I just wanted you to focus on that particular UFO and to give you an understanding what it may have looked like that far away. It wasn't a very sharp image because it was coming down, I believe, so fast. Now this stop motion was not at the point where it came to a complete stop. What I did was just before it came to the stop, that's when I did the stop motion picture on it. And I believe that's why I probably got a lot of fuzziness around the craft itself. So I have to go back and I have to check out to see maybe I can do this again, and I'll do it when it comes to a complete stop. It did do that, came to a complete stop. Now, maybe if you take a look at this craft right now, let's take a look underneath it. You seem to have a solid mass around the craft, and then you got a lot of haze. Well, this craft may have been coming down at this point in time when I did the stop motion, and was slowing down. And if you look at I think that's electromagnetic charge coming from the bottom of it. Plasma charge, maybe. But as it was starting to do that maneuver, coming to a stop, I believe that's what that is down there. Let's go to the next photo and take a look at that. What I did was I darkened it up so we can see it. There is obviously a craft there, and you got that electromagnetic charge on the bottom of the craft. And I really truly believe that it was giving off some kind of discharge to stop the craft, because we do know that some of these craft that were crash retrieval craft, some of the whistleblowers had said that these craft give off a powerful electric charge on the bottom of the craft when it's starting up. And then when it lifts off the ground, the electric charge is all around the craft. And I believe that's a good possibility in what's happening here. Now, I really haven't paid too much attention to other craft that came to a complete stop. And I'm going to go back to my archives and see whether or not they did the same thing. But again, if you take a look at this craft, you can see a solid mass around it. And now you see the background, I changed it a little bit to give you a better point of view. And then you got all this fuzziness, which I believe is electromagnetic charge, anti-gravity charge coming out from this craft. as it's stopping. If you notice on the top of it, it is not as much as the bottom, where it's basically holding the craft. And I believe that in the most simplest terms is that this is how they control these craft when they're coming down to Earth. Whether or not I'm right, whether or not I'm wrong, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but it's from my thinking and how these craft interact with each other. And when they're coming down, when they're trying to control coming down, they're coming to a stop. I believe this is what's happening here. If you think you know, let me know at UFOWeWantToKnow@gmail.com. We'll be back after this message.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO, we want to know and remember, yes, they are out there.
Thank you for staying with us. On this segment, we have 2 videos and 12 photos. So let's start with the videos. And here I want you to concentrate where the arrow's at, because this UFO was dark in nature. It was in this cloud here. Now, if I play this really fast, this video, you can actually see it moving pretty quickly. It did move. The video was 53 seconds, taken in slow motion. It was taken on April 17th, 2024 at 9:04 a.m. This was before I came to the studio. And if you remember, April 17th, I had a lot of videos last week. They were all April 17th. These 2 videos here on this segment are going to also be April 17th. And these are both above my home before I came to the studio in the morning. But interesting that this craft here, I was starting to get a lot of dark craft floating in and around the area where I live in Pahrump, Nevada here. And what I thought was interesting about this craft is it was dark, and if it was trying to camouflage itself, it sure wasn't doing a very good job, because it's in a white cloud. And when I first took this video, I actually went right to it with my eyeball, which is rare, because you heard me say this before, I don't have that great of eyesight. And for a person like me who can catch an object for the first time like that, it's a rarity. We're going to go ahead and loop this a couple of times more so you can understand what is up there. This isn't just an anomaly that scientists will say, well, it's most likely a glitch in his phone camera. No, this object was moving. And again, as I said, if I was to speed this up, you'll actually see it move quite quickly. This was taken in slow motion, and we slowed it down even more. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on this particular craft here, we slowed it down 30%. So it's going quite slow on the video for you to see. So after this, we'll go ahead and go to the first photo. And on the first photo, you're going to see what I saw in the viewfinder before we zoomed in, because I did zoom in on this, because you're going to be able to see this craft right above the aerial antenna above my house. You see that antenna down there left corner? That's the aerial, one of my aerials on my house, and that's where the craft was at. That just goes to show you how much we zeroed in on the video to get this view for you to see. Zeroing in, taking away everything else but the craft itself. It's a dark craft. You can see it for yourself. For the scientists out there who are going to claim this is a nothing burger, this burger was flying high and dry in the sky. And I got to say that I've been capturing a lot of these dark objects very, very similar to this. Remember last week I told you there was a lady coming into LaGuardia Airport in New York, and she took a UFO flying past her window. I did a stop motion on her video, and I looked at the video I showed you last week of the dark UFO going over a telephone pole, and I put them next to each other, and they look very much the same. It's got from right to left, they both had a bulbous head, and as they were traversing in our atmosphere, they had a lower end to the right of the craft. Now, hers was very sharp, so I don't know what kind of camera she was using, but she got a really close-up view. Now with that one, and that's been all over the news, scientists won't remark on that one because they can't say, well, that could have been anything and it's not in our atmosphere. The plane was higher than the UFO. So if that's the case, then the plane she was flying in was flying in outer space. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. So scientists have to start getting on board with the rest of us here on planet Earth and start coming to the conclusion that these craft are flying in and around wherever you may be. Bottom line. I lightened up the background. At the previous shot, I had darkened it, and I wanted to lighten it up a little bit. As you can see, this was in the clouds. You can see the cloud around it, but this is basically what I was talking about. The very front of it, this was going from left to right, remember. On the video that the lady took, it was going from right to left. But again, the right side of this craft, which is the leading edge, it was a lot thicker looking than the back end. On the woman's video, it was the opposite because it was going the opposite way this one was going. Close-up view. Now, the reason why I think I got a really fuzzy view because it was in the clouds. And sometimes when you're in the clouds, you're not going to get very good resolution. Obviously, there was a craft in there. Showing here more density. Again, it could have been because of the cloud cover that it gave me this kind of a photo. And I believe this is my last photo here of this particular craft. I tried to use other software to get it to a point where maybe I can get a more solid base craft. This is the best I could do. And that's why I was telling you in the first segment that I did go to other optics, and I'm going to show you that at the last segment. I think you're going to see that. It's really exciting what I got on it using infrared technology. I'm still utilizing the new equipment that I got, and it's going to take a while for me to really understand what I'm doing. It's not really technical as far as using the instruments that I'm using, but at night, you know, when you're out there at night, you have to feel for the buttons to press in order to get what you're looking for, and I'm just getting used to that. But I'm going to be bringing you more and more videos just like that because of what I'm finding at night, ladies and gentlemen, is really exciting, and I think you'll agree with me on the last segment of the show to see what I'm going to be showing you today. Again, this is the last photo of this particular video, and this is the best I got. But again, you saw at the beginning, you saw it flying in the video. This is a flying saucer, if you want to call it saucer. It's a UFO, and unidentified flying object. And I'm not going to second guess any scientist who wants to different from me. Let's go to the next video. Here's an interesting video here, and the reason why I took this one in the sun, again, they're taken April 17, 2024, above my home, one day before the object that was shown on TV. This is why I'm showing you this. I'm reading my notes here, but the reason why I wanted to show you this is because when you see the stop motion pictures, you're gonna see something that this one lady, and I appreciate her videos because she was astounded. She was using a lot of profanity. There's a lot of beeping going on in her video, which I try to stay away from myself, but she was so excited and was confused. But on my video here, you're just going to see the UFO in action as it flies up. It was so fast that it was within, I'd say, a second. It went from the bottom to the top and out of view. So we had to actually slow this one down, and we slowed this one down another 75%. And it's the only way for you to actually see it. But this is a UFO that was very similar to the ladies that showed it on television just 3 days ago. So after this loop, we can go to the first picture. And that's where I stop motioned it right there, which to me was really important because I had to get to an area in which I could see what she was seeing in her video. And as we go through the pictures here, you'll see what I'm talking about. I seem to have captured a very sharp image, but as we go closer and closer to it, you're going to see that I didn't get a solid object. Again, you have an object out there that is showing a solid base in the center, and then you got the dark area out there. That's the outer part, electromagnetic charge it's giving off, plasma charge. It could be a number of different types of drives that they're using. We don't know what type of drives they're using in these UFOs, so I'm only assuming and I'm guessing. But if you look at it, you got a solid mass here, and then you got a ring around it, and that ring is what we're talking about there. That's what it's giving off, some kind of electromagnetic field. This particular object was flying so fast that it is beyond comprehension as far as humans are concerned. We can't process what we see sometimes when you see something doing fantastic maneuvers. And in the last episode, you're going to see what I'm talking about as far as maneuver. Now, one of the things that this particular lady I'm talking about in the video, she was saying was that they could see lights inside of the UFO. Now, she wasn't using a cell phone. She was using some kind of high-definition camera. And by using a better optics, you're going to get better viewing of it. On my particular one there, I could see something inside of it as I blew this up. You can see a little colorization there. Whether or not those are lights inside of it, like she was pointing out. And I really never noticed it until I watched her video over and over and over again to see what she was talking about. And there was colorization in the craft itself. When I looked at mine through my ×40 magnifier and I played it real slow, it sparkled inside. It gave off a little bit of I'm not going to say a purple light like she was saying, but it was giving off kind of like I would say a light orangish, yellowish light combination, but it was like a flicker within the craft itself. It just flickered inside of it. And I really never noticed that until I watched her video. Again, she took it in high definition on some kind of maybe it was a camcorder, or I don't know what it was she was using. I'm using a cell phone, and there's a big difference. But at the same time, by watching a lot of videos and a lot of documentaries, you pick up ideas of what you can do for yourself if you're into this phenomenon like I am. And I want to thank her for that. If she watches this show here, thank her for not only showing the video, being courageous enough to come out and say, this is my video. They did give a name. I can't remember what it was, but it takes all of us to be courageous and come out there. Don't let the government around the world tell you that you're crazy. Don't let them tell you that you're seeing things that are not there. They are there, and I prove it every week on this show, UFO We Want to Know. We'll be back after this message.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO We Want to Know, and remember, yes, they are out there.
Thank you for staying with us for the last segment. You're going to find this segment very interesting because I have 6 videos, 2 on infrared, and 4 regular videos that I've been showing you. So let's start with the first video. And I'm going to be running through these pictures really quick because I only have about 12 minutes to get through everything here, and it's an awful lot. as you can see, there's a jet flying what looks like up. That's the moon to the left. And you saw what, we're going to play this over a couple of times. This UFO flew like a big U up towards the jet contrail, and it comes right through the line there and coming right back down. Now, obviously, this UFO was closer to me than that jet. I acknowledge that. But still, take a look at the maneuverability of this craft. And take a look, if you want to, take a look at that jet. It's barely moving. And this UFO is flying around it like it's just another Saturday night. And yet, scientists today will say, well, there's nothing up there in the skies that are in our atmosphere. This is truly in our atmosphere because you can see it passing the chemtrail. It's in our atmosphere. How are they going to debunk that? This isn't CGI. This is a phone camera that I'm taking this with. You got the moon to the left, you got a jet in the center, and you got a UFO doing a loop here. After this, we'll go ahead and go to the first photo. Now, I did three stop motions with photos, and I'm going to go through them pretty quick here. So that's the first one. Now, as it got closer, this particular one, this is the one that was going up before it made the, it went over the chemtrail here. You notice that it's starting to change its shape. And that's because I think it was getting ready to make that turn. Kind of looks like a shark, but it did make its turn there. And this is the final shot of it. But this is the first one of the three. Next one, it went over it, okay? And it is definitely starting to make its move. Now, this is just before it started to come down. Doesn't look anything like the first one, does it? Totally different. That's because it was standing still. Now, before it did its move, it, of course, made an adjustment, I think. A lot of fuzziness around it. This is when it was coming down. Just remember, this is the same craft. We're not showing you three different craft. It's the same craft. I'm just trying to give you understanding that it seems to change its shape and its size. A lot of times it's elongated, a lot of times it's a circle, a lot of times it shows a different position. This one looks kind of like a bullet if you look at the bottom of it. But it was coming down, a little bit of a fuzz on the top. I think that's because of the it coming down so fast. This next video here is interesting video here, and I think you're going to find this really interesting. This was taken on April 16th, 2024 at 12:25 p.m. There was over 100 UFOs in this video, and it lasted 4 minutes, 14 seconds. And that means that what happened was when I turned it on my tripod, I left it running by accident. It wasn't a 4-minute video at total time. This is what it gives me in slow motion. But I believe it was on there for probably 30 seconds, and it gave me a 4-minute video. But what we did, we cut this video, and I want to show you the last, I believe it was the last 30 seconds of it. And the reason why is because at the very end of the video, this, did you see that? This UFO did a check mark. It came down from the upper right of the sun's view, and it made this maneuver that was really, really crazy. And you'll see that at the end of this. Take a look at the right side of the sun, you'll see this big UFO come down. There's, like I said, there was over 100 UFOs in this video itself. It just goes to show you that if you're patient enough, you'll catch a lot. It's coming up really quick here. It's very, very fast. You see it? Look at that maneuver. Try that with today's jets, and you won't have a jet. I can guarantee you that. And I wish so much that that NASA scientists would take these videos seriously. Now, I could send my videos in to all these different shows you see on TV, and I'll probably get a lot of viewing. But I choose to keep it to where I'm at this point in time because of the fact I need to concentrate on my shows. I can't concentrate on other people sitting there trying to debunk something. I concentrate on what I can do here at home, Pahrump, Nevada, and give it to the people of Las Vegas, Henderson, Armagosa, the surrounding areas here. I find a lot of enjoyment there. But a lot of people have told me that. A lot of people have told me that. Well, why don't you send your videos into this show, that show? I might do that sooner or later, but right now I think it's so important to keep on with what I'm doing. But isn't this interesting to see a UFO making that kind of maneuver? Isn't that so interesting? I think it is. When I first saw this and I was going through the 4-minute, 14 seconds video, I was getting kind of tired because, you know, when you view things for a long period of time, you tend to start getting itchy eyes. I'm just glad that at the last I saw this. But if we played this whole video through, the whole 4 minutes, 14 seconds long, you would not believe some of the maneuverabilities in the beginning and middle of this video that we didn't show because I wanted to show this last part of this UFO making this fantastic maneuver. And this would be the last run on this one here, and then we'll go to the pictures. End of that particular UFO that was making that maneuver, it gave me some pictures that were kind of confusing because there wasn't one UFO in there. There seemed to be maybe 3. If they were flying in tandem and they were flying that fast, well, they were doing one heck of a job. You talk about these maneuvers that we do with our F-18 Hornets and the air shows that they show. They're nothing compared to what these craft are doing here because these craft are going in the Mach range. Isolating it. We see 3 different objects, I think, not one. Again, they were going pretty fast, so whether or not it's one object and it gives you this image because of what I'm using as far as optics are concerned, I don't know. I'm not going to try and second guess it. But isn't this interesting? The one on the right, you put them together, looks like a bowling pin. But they were coming down very fast. Now, I couldn't take the stop motion when it was doing that maneuver because there was too much of a blur. I did get quite a bit of pictures as far as those maneuverabilities, but it's just too much video taking, too much photo taking for me to actually get what I wanted to show you. And I did the best I could. But your guess is as good as mine. There's most likely there's 3 different UFOs in that one stop motion. This is just before he made that check mark on the bottom of the screen. This is about the best I could do. With 200 megapixels, that's not bad. So now I want to go to my IR videos. These were taken in infrared. And if you take a look at these, this was taken at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it shows that 2 UFOs, they look like they're going to collide and then they separate. Now here's the problem I have for scientists out there. These can't be satellites for 1 or 2 reasons. I have on my phone, I have the satellite app. And basically what I do is if I see something that's moving, I'll put I'll put my app on it and my phone, and I'll zero in on those particular objects that are giving me some kind of interest, and I'll find out if it's a satellite, or I'll find out if it is a planet or some kind of star system. Now, what I did with these is I did that very thing. And on my phone, because I have this on a tripod, on my phone, it didn't show anything around this area. I just see a planet to the upper left of this video, but I didn't see any satellites moving. Now, satellites move in synchronization. They'll go in one direction. You don't have satellites crisscrossing, because that's how you have accidents. So these two UFOs passed each other. Why? Who knows? We're talking about the vastness of space. This was taken, as I said, at 2 o'clock in the morning. The next one was taken a few days later, and we'll show that one next. This will be the last one here. This is going to be an interesting one. I had my technical director, Mikey, stop it. Look what was flying. Now, we did a close-up. This is not very close to me. This is far up, but we zeroed in, and on my video, it only went through. You only saw this in the very beginning, right? I'll show you right there, and then at the very end, about right there is where I caught this. But with his technical knowledge and the instruments we have here at the studio, he was able to actually stop motion it. Take a look at that. This was flying really far up there, and of course it's fuzzy because we brought it in quite a bit. But in the original video I have, it's a white streak that goes across my path of my binoculars that I'm using. They're IR binoculars. They're night vision. Very, very, very powerful. 0.5 magnification on these magnifiers built inside of this new device that I got. And I've been playing with it at night. Been going out and staying out as late as 3 o'clock in the morning. And I caught these. These are just some of the very first videos. I got a whole bunch of them, and I'm going to show you what I've done as far as the laser. And that's to be the last one there. So let's make a public announcement here, ending the show.
It's LV Craft Show's Craft Festival in Tivoli, happening Sunday, May 19th at Tivoli Village from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Shop outdoors as you discover original crafts, jewelry, and food trucks. Plus, you can bring your dog too. Visit lvcraftshows.com.
Okay, so this ends our show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next week.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO We Want to Know and remember, yes, they are out there.